starting off on your computer kind of ties into your whole house because you're going to be spending some time at your computer. So if your computer kind of looks like this, your computer desk, it's like up to the ceiling, it's just unorganized. You kind of got to get in the mindset of organizing. So you want to have your mind clear of what you're looking around, because when you do want to take a break, if your computer is, an absolute mess, which none of you guys are. You guys' computer's great. You guys are here just for maintenance. So, but if your computer desk does look like this, I'd take a little bit of time and just tidy it up a little bit, because if your brain's thinking about everything around you, you're not going to be focused in on going through files, and sometimes it can be tedious when it's been 10 years since you've done anything with your computer. So some tips is clean off your computer desk. Wipe down the keyboard, monitor, and tower, because it gets really dusty and gross. And me and my kids, we tend to eat snacks when we go on the computer, which isn't the best. So the keyboard's always sticky, and there's crumbs all over the place. So wipe that up. Any papers that you're going to want to scan into the computer, have those on hand. Get a background on your computer that you're going to like to look at, because if it's going to be a bigger project, you're going to be clicking back and forth between that background, and you kind of want to get into the mindset of wanting to be sitting at your computer. You can put some music on to motivate you, and make a checklist of what you want to accomplish. Some of you may have a bigger job, so it may take a little bit of time. So having a checklist just shows you that you are accomplishing something. So here's some examples of what it should look like. Like we talked about last time, for my organizing, I don't expect perfection. I expect utilization. These pictures look good, but sometimes it's just not real life, But try and get it as tidy as you can. So especially if you are scanning papers in, you want to be able to spread out those papers and see what you have. And when you have all these books and everything all over the place, you're going to lose the papers that you want to scan in the computer anyway. Okay, so we're going to start off with the desktop, not the actual spot here. You're onto your computer. You're going to only want programs that you use all the time, like Excel and Word and PowerPoint, and the bigger folders on your desktop. You can, with the exception of current projects, if you have links and photos and things that you're working on a current project, if your job is on the computer, those are your exceptions. Put thought into each of the folders that you're going to create. The folders that are on the desktop are the big ones, like yours, your husband or wife, your kids, work, things that are huge, the broad scheme folders. You want to name them, to put thought into what you're naming them, because you don't want to second guess what's in there. If your title of the folder is a sentence long, then you know exactly what's in there, so you're not clicking all over the place, because that's kind of why we got in this place we got that way in the first place, is because sometimes we just name it something too simple. And then we name our next folder, if the first one's animals, the second one's animals 2, and you don't know where anything is, So be vague on what you're naming them. And then last week talked about the junk drawer, and how our junk drawer we just throw everything in there that we might need, and we used once, but we don't remember what it's for, but it's in there anyway. So that's kind of what our desktop turns into. It turns into a place where you're like, well, I'm just going to save this picture real quick because I'm just going to copy and paste it onto my PowerPoint or whatever it is, and then it stays on the desktop. And then you have 50 icons on your desktop of something you did 5 years ago. So that's what we're trying to avoid, and trying to keep our desktop not a junk drawer. So I talked about it before. You guys start simple. Make your folders broad. One folder for each person, and you're only going to move on to the next step of going into all of your files on your computers, whether that's photos or whatever, until you have a folder for everybody. And then once you go into each file of the computer, each area of the computer, you're going to want to, you can have 2 tabs open if you want, but if you open the folder on the one side, you can drag and click it into your folder, because it'll always have the main screen open here, and I can show you here in a minute. You'll have the main screen, oh, sorry, your way. You'll have the main screen on this side where it shows all your files, and then it'll tell you what's open on the right side. And you go drag and click, and I can show you that here in a minute. So your photos. Each photo that, especially with a digital camera, each photo has a digital timestamp on it. So you'll know when you click on it, you can right click on your photo and it'll tell you when you took that photo. So you can put that into a broad name folder, whether that's years or the event you went to or the vacation you went to. Try and keep them broad, and then once you get that broad folder all together, then you can condense it. I like doing it by years on my computer, and then if there's an event inside that year, like 2019, we went to Pennsylvania, so I can make another folder inside the 2019 folder, and you just right click and it says new folder, and you can name it whatever you want. And I'll name it Pennsylvania, and I can drag any folder, any photos I want right into the Pennsylvania folder. It's just easy. You just click it, you hold down the click, and then you drag it and let it go, and it goes right to that folder. Don't go too small. Don't make too many folders, because then you won't know where you put them. Like if you have an event in Pennsylvania, don't go any lower than Pennsylvania. Don't say, well, we went to Hershey here, and then we went to a museum here. Just keep it all together, because then when you go to look for it 3 years from now, you're going to be you're not going to remember the trip 100%, and you're not going to know where all the pictures are because you have way too many files. And I kind of talked about that last week with a woman who organized her pantry so much that she had just bins, and she couldn't even see her food because she was too organized. So don't go crazy. So in your folders, you're going to want to delete any photos that are blurry, any photos that are of you and you don't look flattering, or anything that you wouldn't want your spouse or loved one to go in and just print it off. Be like, okay, well, I need a bunch of pictures for this collage. And they print off like the worst pictures, and you got like a double chin and everything. So you can delete those, or ones that are just like, the good thing about digital photography is you can just click. But then all those thousands of photos go right onto the computer, and then the computer's running slow, and you're like, why is my computer not working? Because our phones are so fast, because there's not very much on our phones compared to what we can put on our computers. So you're going to want to, just weed those out, especially like when you upload them off your camera onto your computer. That's a great time to do it. So then you do it right away and you don't forget about it. And you're not going through for 2 hours, going through your thousands and thousands of pictures that you're like, why the heck did I even take that? It's when I go to like concerts and stuff for the kids, I'm never in the front row because I can never get there early enough. So I always got the back of everyone's head, and my son's like this big in the photo, and the woman's hair is like blowing in the wind. So it's like, why am I keeping those? So yes, do it right away.